three particles of masses 0.5 kg, 1 kg and 1.5 kg are placed at the three corners of a right angled triangle of sides 3 cm, 4 cm and 5 cm as shown in figure. Locate the center of mass of the system. The solution, observe the diagram. Let us assume that the coordinates of the three particles are as follows. Let us assume that M1 0.5 kg is at origin, 4 centimeters line is assumed on x-axis, so that 1 kg mass lying on the positive x-axis, 3 centimeter line is assumed along y direction, that is 1.5 kg is located on y-axis. As for the diagram or as per our assumption, M1 is equal to 0.5 kg, x1 is equal to 0, y1 is equal to 0. M2 is equal to 1 kg, x2 is equal to 4 centimeter, y2 is equal to 0. M3 is equal to 1.5 kg, x3 is equal to 0, y3 is equal to 3.0 centimeter. Therefore, the coordinate of the center of mass is capital X is equal to m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3 divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3. By substituting the values, you can get x is equal to 0.5 kg into 0 plus 1 kg into 4 centimeter plus 1.5 kg into 0 divided by 0.5 kg plus 1 kg plus 1.5 kg, that is equal to 4 kg centimeter divided by 3 kg. Kg cancel, 4 by 3 centimeter is equal to 1.3 centimeter. Next, y coordinate of the center of mass is capital Y is equal to m1 y1 plus m2 y2 plus m3 y3 divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3. By substituting the values, we can get y is equal to 0.5 into 5 kg into 0 plus 1 kg into 0 plus 1.5 kg into 3 centimeter whole divided by 0.5 kg plus 1 kg plus 1.5 kg, that is equal to 4.5 kg centimeter divided by 3 kg. Kg cancel. So 4.5 centimeters by 3 is equal to 1.5 centimeter. Thus, the center of mass is 1.3 centimeter right and 1.5 centimeter above the 0.5 kg particle. Next question. Half of the rectangular plate shown in figure is made of a material of density ρ1 and the other half of the density ρ2. The length of the plate is capital L. Locate the center of mass of the plate. Solution, observe the diagram. Rectangular plate of length capital L, and here left half is made with a material of density ρ1. Let us assume that C1 is the center of mass of the left half and right half is made with a material of density ρ2. Let us assume that C2 is the center of mass of the right half. We know that mass is equal to volume into density. So in the case of a plate of certain thickness, mass can be written as area into thickness into density, but area of the plate and thickness of the plate are constants, so that we assumed as the mass of the left half is equal to area into thickness is constant, that we assumed as K into density ρ1. This is assumed as M1, left side plate mass. It is located at C1 because C1 is the center of mass of the left half. Similarly, the mass of right half is equal to K into ρ2. It is located at C2 because C2 is the center of mass of the right half. Take the middle point of the left edge to be the origin. Observe the diagram. In the diagram, this point at left extreme, a point O is imagined at the origin. Then from the origin, C1 is located at L by 4. This we assumed as x1, and C2 is located at 3L by 4 because total length is capital L. Hence, the x coordinate of the center of mass is capital X is equal to m1 x1 plus m2 x2 divided by m1 plus m2 is the formula. By substituting the assumed values here, we will get x is equal to k into rho 1 into L by 4 plus k into rho 2 into 3L by 4 whole divided by k rho 1 plus k rho 2, that is equal to rho 1 plus 3 rho 2 divided by rho 1 plus rho 2 into L divided by 4. The combined center of mass is this much to the right of the assumed origin. A cubical block of ice of mass small m and edge capital L is placed in a large tray of mass capital M. If the ice melts, how far does the center of mass of the system ice plus tray come down? The solution and diagram. Let us assume that, so as per the question, a tray of large surface or tray of mass capital M, it is the tray, and in the tray an ice cube of side capital L is placed. In the diagram, let us assume that a point O is at the origin. Then here x1 is the distance of center of mass of the tray from the origin, and x2 is the distance of center of mass of the ice cube from the origin initially. So therefore, original center of mass of the system x is equal to small m x2 plus capital M x1 divided by small m plus capital M, where small m is the mass of the ice block, x2 distance of the ice block from the origin, capital M mass of the tray, x1 is the distance of tray from the origin. When ice block melts into water, the level of water is negligible in the tray because of its large size. It means the center of mass of the ice cube come down by L by 2 from initial position. Therefore, x dash final center of mass of the system is tray plus water. X dash is equal to m into, see earlier the center of mass of the ice block is at x2, but now it is come down by L by 2. Therefore, small m into x2 minus L by 2 plus there is no change in the center of mass of the tray. So that's why capital M into x1 as it is divided by denominator also same m plus m. Now we want to find out, due to the melting of ice block, shift in the center of mass is equal to x minus x dash. By subtracting x dash from x, we will get small m into capital L by 2 into small m plus capital M. Consider a two-particle system with the particles having masses m1 and m2. If the first particle is pushed towards the center of mass through a distance small d, by what distance should the second particle be moved so as to keep the center of mass at the same position? Observe the solution and also the diagram. In the diagram, there are two empty circles are there at the end of the diagram and two filled circles are also there in the diagram. Let us first assume that empty circles indicates the original positions of m1 and m2, and C is the center of mass of the two particle system m1 m2. x1 is the distance of m1 from the center of mass, x2 is the distance of m2 from the center of mass. Now the question is, if m1 is shifted through a distance d towards the center of mass, to what distance m2 should be displaced to maintain the center of mass at the same position? We know that Distance of center of mass from the particle is always inversely proportional to the distance. From that, we can write it as m1 x1 is equal to m2 x2. Let us assume that it is equation 1. And after m1 is moved by a distance d towards the center of mass, we can write it as m1 into x1 minus d is equal to m2 into x2 minus d dash, where d dash is the distance to be moved by m2. Let us assume that it is equation 2. Subtracting equation 2 from 1, that is 2 minus 1, we will get m1 into d is equal to m2 into d, or d dash is equal to, it is distance moved by m2 to maintain the center of mass at the C. D dash is equal to m1 by m2 into d. Next question. A body of mass 2.5 kg is subjected to the forces shown in figure. Find the acceleration of the center of mass. There is the solution as well as the diagram. First observe the diagram here. So, a body of mass 2.5 kg is subjected to 4 different forces. First, one by one, we will observe the forces. In the first quadrant, here vertical dotted line is y-axis and horizontal dotted line is x-axis. In the coordinate system, first quadrant, 4 Newton's force is acting on the body by making an angle 60 degrees with the horizontal. In the second quadrant, 6 Newton's force is acting along the negative x direction. In the third quadrant, 5 Newton force is acting on the body by making an angle 37 degrees with the horizontal. And in the fourth quadrant, 6 Newton's force is acting by making an angle 53 degrees with the horizontal. Now, take the x and y axis as shown in the figure. The x component of the resultant force is x component, that is horizontal component of resultant force acting on the body. So there are 4 different forces are acting. If we resolve that 4 forces into components, horizontal component as well as vertical component, we will get Fx, horizontal component of resultant force, as well as vertical component of resultant force Fy. Observe here, Fx is equal to horizontal components of all forces. So for second quadrant 6 newtons, there is no vertical component for this force only. So that we can write it as minus 6 plus 5 cos 37 degrees plus 6 cos 53 degrees plus 4 cos 60 degrees. That is equal to minus 6 plus 5 into cos 37 is equal to 4 by 5 plus 6 into cos 53 is equal to 3 by 5 plus 4 into cos 60 is equal to 1 by 2. By simplifying this, we will get 3.6 newtons, that is the horizontal component of a resultant force acting on the body. Similarly, the y component of the resultant force is, that is vertical components of all 4 forces, but out of 4, here 6 newtons in the second quadrant does not has vertical component because it is acting along the negative x direction. So that Fy can be written as 5 sine 37 degrees minus 6 sine 53 degrees plus 4 sine 60 degrees. By substituting the sine 37, sine 53 and sine 60, we will get 1.7 newtons as Fy. Therefore, the magnitude of the resultant force is capital F is equal to square root of Fx square plus Fy square, that is equal to square root of 3.6 whole square plus 1.7 whole square, that is equal to 4 newtons. The direction of the resultant force makes an angle theta with the x-axis, where tan theta is equal to y component of resultant force Fy divided by x component of resultant force, that is Fx, that is equal to 1.7 by 3.6, that is equal to 0.47. The acceleration of the center of mass is, that is ACM is equal to capital F by capital M, that is equal to 4 Newton divided by 2.5 kg, or that is equal to 1.6 meter per second square in the direction of the resultant force. Acceleration is acting in the direction of resultant force. Two blocks of equal mass, small m, and connected by an unstretched spring, and the system is kept at rest on a frictionless horizontal surface. A constant force capital F is applied on one of the blocks, pulling it away from the other as shown in figure. A. Find the position of the center of mass at time t. B. If the extension of the spring is x naught at time t. Find the displacement of the two blocks at this instant. Observe the solution as well as diagram. As for the question, two blocks of same mass are connected by an unstretched spring of spring constant K. Now, a constant force capital F bar is applied on one of the blocks, pulling it away from the other as shown in the figure. Then, first one is find the position of the center of mass at T is, say for the A, the acceleration of the center of mass is given by, here acceleration is equal to applied force or external force divided by total mass according to Newton's second law. Therefore, ACM, that is acceleration of the center of mass of this system. System is nothing but two masses as well as spring. Capital F by capital M, that is equal to applied force capital F, total mass is 2m. The position of the center of mass at time t is, from S is equal to ut plus half at square, we can write it as x is equal to initial velocity of the system is 0. So, therefore, first term becomes 0 and second term half gt square, or half into ACM into t square. We know that ACM is equal to f by 2m, that is equal to f into t square by 4m. Next, B point. Suppose the displacement of the first block is x1 and that of the second block is x2. As the center of mass is at x, we should have center of mass formula. X is equal to m1 x1 plus m2 x2 divided by m1 plus m2, where m1 m2 are equal. Observe this equation. In the numerator, we can take it as m as common and denominator m is there. So, m cancel in numerator as well as in denominator. So, therefore, f into t square by 4m is equal to x1 plus x2 divided by 2, or x1 plus x2 can be written as f into t square by 2m. Here 2 cancel. So, therefore, this is remaining. That we assumed as equation 1. The extension of the spring is x2 minus x1. x2 is the final length, x1 is the initial length. Therefore, x2 minus x1 is equal to x naught is given in the question, that we assumed as equation 2. From equations 1 and 2, we can write it as x1 is equal to 1 by 2 into ft square by 2m minus x naught, and x2 is equal to 1 by 2 into ft square by 2m plus x naught. Observe here, from equations 1 and 2, we can get it as x1 formula as well as x2 formula. Next question. A projectile is fired at a speed of 100 meters per second at an angle of 37 degrees above the horizontal. At the highest point, the projectile breaks into two parts of mass ratio 1:3. The smaller coming to rest. Find the distance from the launching point to the point where the heavier piece lands. Observe the diagram in the solution. And here, see, when a projectile is fired at a speed of 100 meters per second at an angle 37 degrees with the horizontal. So it travels up to the highest point. Observe the red color spot in the diagram. Until the highest point, the projectile does not break into pieces. Once it reaches the highest point, breaks into pieces, that is two parts of ratio 1:3. So let us assume that total mass of the block is m, and this m be divided into 1:3 ratio means m by 4 and 3m by 4. That m by 4 first part is really drops down from the highest point. It means its velocity becomes 0. At the highest point, velocity is only horizontal component. With that horizontal component, second part, that is 3m by 4 part, observe the red color spot, 3m by 4 moved to some other place. So first part is drops down from the highest point, reaches the ground, and second part is traveling along this path and reaches to some other point. Now, in between, one more thick dotted line is there. This is whether the projectile is break into pieces or not. Center of mass of the projectile always travels along this dotted line. So this is the distance of center of mass of the system from the point of projection, or it is also called range of the projectile. So that XCM, that is center of mass of the system, is equal to range. Range formula, we know that 2 u square sine theta cos theta divided by small g, that is equal to 2 into u is given 100, 100 is nothing but 10 square, 10 square whole square is 10 power 4 into sine 37 degrees is 3 by 5 and cos 37 degrees is 4 by 5 whole divided by small g value 10, that is equal to 960 meters. But XCM formula is equal to m1 x1 plus m2 x2 divided by m1 plus m2, where m1 I said already to you, m1 is capital M by 4, m2 is 3m by 4, x1 is equal to first particle distance. This is half of the 960. So 960 by 2, exactly half. Total range of the system is 960. So first particle is drops down exactly at the half. So x1 is equal to 480, that is 960 by 2, and we should find out x2. That is the question. See the solution, or 960 meters is equal to capital M by 4 into 480 meter plus 3m by 4 into x2 whole divided by m, or x2 is equal to 1120 meters. By simplifying here, we will get x2 value as 1120 meters. Next question. The hero of a stunt film fires 50 grams bullets from a machine gun, each at a speed of 1 kilometer. If he fires 20 bullets in 4 seconds, what average force does he exert against the machine gun during this period? Solution. The momentum of each bullet is equal to, momentum is nothing but mass into velocity. Mass of the bullet is given 50 grams, or we can write it as 0.050 kg into speed of the bullet is given 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer is nothing but 1000 meter per second. So that is equal to momentum of each bullet becomes 50 kg meter per second. Then the gun is imparted this much of momentum by each bullet fired. Thus, the rate of change of momentum of the gun is 50 kg meter per second into 20 bullets divided by time is 4 seconds, that is given in the question. So that we will get the rate of change of momentum of the gun is equal to 250 newtons. In order to hold the gun, the hero must exert a force of 250 Newton against the gun. Next question. A block moving horizontally on a smooth surface with a speed of 20 meters per second bursts into two equal parts continuing in the same direction. If one of the parts moves at 30 meters per second, with what speed does the second part move, and what is the fractional change in the kinetic energy? Observe the solution. Let us first assume that before burst into two equal parts, total momentum is equal to capital M into 20 meter per second. After burst into two equal parts, total momentum is equal to capital M by 2 into 30 meter per second plus capital M by 2 into V, where first half speed is given in the question as 30 meters per second, and we need to find out the second half velocity, where v is the speed of the second part or other part. From this equation, we will get v is equal to 10 meters per second, that is second part velocity. Therefore, the change in kinetic energy is equal to, change in kinetic energy is nothing but final kinetic energy minus initial kinetic energy. So, final kinetic energy is half into first part kinetic energy, this is half into m by 2 into 30 meter per second whole square plus second half kinetic energy 1 by 2 into m by 2 into 10 meters by second whole square minus half into capital M into 20 meter per second square. This is the kinetic energy before burst into two equal parts. That is equal to m by 2 into, observe the above line, in all the cases, say here half and m by 2, m by 2 are constants, m by 2 is common, m by 2 is taken as common from all the three terms in the above line. So that here 30 square is 900, 900 by 2 is equal to 450 plus here m by 2 is taken as common, 10 square is 100, 100 by 2 is equal to 50 minus here m by 2 is taken as common, so that 20 square is 400, 400 as it is. 450 plus 50, 500, 500 minus 400 is equal to 50, 500 minus 400 is equal to 100, 100 by 2 is equal to 50 into capital M, meter square by second square is the unit. Hence, the fractional change in the kinetic energy is equal to, see, observe here, change in kinetic energy divided by initial kinetic energy is the fraction. By substituting the values here, m into 50 divided by half m into 20 square, we will get 1 divided by 4. Next question. A car of mass capital M is moving with a uniform velocity v on a horizontal road when the hero of a Kannada film drops himself on it from above. Taking the mass of the hero to be small m, what will be the velocity of the car after the event? See the solution. The hero has fallen vertically, so his initial horizontal momentum is equal to 0 because there is no horizontal velocity initially for the hero, and initial horizontal momentum of the car is equal to capital M into V towards right. Finally, the hero sticks to the roof of the car, so they move with equal horizontal velocity, say capital V. This is the combined velocity of the hero as well as car. Final horizontal momentum of the system. System is nothing but hero plus car is equal to capital M plus small m into V. Hence, according to the law of conservation of linear momentum, we can write it as total linear momentum is before collision is equal to total linear momentum after collision. That can be written as capital M into small v is equal to capital M plus small m into capital V, or capital V is equal to capital M into small v by capital M plus small m. Next question. A boy of mass 25 kg stands on a board of mass 10 kg, which in turn is kept on a frictionless horizontal ice surface. The boy makes a jump with a velocity component 5 meters per second in a horizontal direction with respect to the ice. With what velocity does the board recoil? With what rate are the boy and the board separating from each other? Observe the solution. If the board recoils at a speed v, initially the boy as well as board both are at rest, so that initial momentum of the system is equal to 0. After the boy jumps away from the board, momentum of the boy 25 into 5 minus momentum of the board 10 into v, where v is the speed of the board. Why we take minus sign here? So boy jumps in one direction, board will move in the backward direction. That's why you can take it as minus. Or v is equal to 12.5 meter per second. The boy and the board are separating with a rate 5 plus 12.5, that is equal to 17.5 meter per second. The next question. A light spring of spring constant K is kept compressed between two blocks of masses small m and capital M on a smooth horizontal surface. When released, the blocks acquire velocities in opposite directions. The spring loses contact with the blocks when it acquires natural length. If the spring was initially compressed through a distance, find the final speeds of the two blocks. Observe the diagram and solution. See in the diagram, let us suppose that the block of mass capital M moves with a speed capital V and the other block with a speed small v after losing contact with the spring. As the blocks are released from rest, the initial momentum is 0 because both the blocks as well as the spring are initially at rest, so that initial momentum is equal to 0. When the blocks acquires velocities in opposite direction, then the final momentum of the blocks is capital M into capital V minus small m into small v. Again here minus sign is due to both the blocks are moving in opposite directions. Thus, according to the law of conservation of linear momentum, total final momentum is equal to total initial momentum. That implies capital M into capital V minus small m into small v is equal to 0, or capital V is equal to small m by capital M into V. Initially, the energy of the system is equal to 1 by 2 into kx square. This is the work done required to stretch the spring, to compress the spring of kx square. Finally, the energy of the system is equal to half mv square plus half capital M into capital V square, because both the blocks are in motion. As there is no friction, half mv square plus half capital M into capital V square must be equal to half kx square, assumed as equation 2. Using equation 1 and 2, mv square into 1 plus small m by capital M is equal to kx square, or v is equal to square root of k into capital M by small m into capital M plus small m into x, and capital V is equal to square root of k into capital M by capital M into capital M plus small m into x. These are the final velocities of both the blocks. Next question. A block of mass small m moving at a speed v collides with another block of mass 2m at rest. The lighter block comes to rest after the collision. Find the coefficient of restitution. This question is related to collisions. Solution. Let us suppose that the second block was initially at rest, and after collision, second block was moving with velocity v dash, and first body is coming to rest. Therefore, initial momentum of both the particles is equal to momentum of the first body of mass m before collision, because before collision second body of mass 2m was at rest. That is equal to after collision second body of mass 2m is moving with velocity v dash and first body is coming to rest, so that 2m into v dash is the total momentum after collision. According to the law of conservation of linear momentum, total linear momentum before collision must be equal to total linear momentum after collision, or v dash is equal to v by 2. Hence, the velocity of separation is equal to v by 2 and the velocity of approach is equal to v. By definition, E is equal to velocity of separation after collision divided by velocity of approach before collision, that is equal to 1 divided by 2. Next question. A block of mass 1.2 kg moving at a speed of 20 cm per second collides head on with a similar block kept at rest. The coefficient of restitution is 3 by 5. Find the loss of kinetic energy during the collision. Observe the solution. By the law of conservation of linear momentum, we can write it as 1.2 into 0.2 is equal to 1.2 into V1 plus 1.2 into V2. See here, initially a block of mass 1.2 kg moving at a speed 20 cm per second collides head on with a similar block kept at rest. Like previous question, the second body was initially at rest. So left side we will have only momentum of the first body, that is equal to after collision 1.2 into V1 plus 1.2 into V2, where V1 is the velocity of the first particle after collision and V2 is the velocity of the second particle after collision. By simplifying here, we will get V1 plus V2 is equal to 0.2 meter per second. Let us assume that it is equation 1. The velocity of separation is V2 minus V1 and the velocity of approach is 0.2 meter per second, because second body was initially at rest. As the coefficient of restitution is 3 by 5, that is given in the question, we have V2 minus V1 is equal to U2 minus U1 minus U2 formula, but that is given 3 by 5 into 0.2, that is equal to 0.12 meter per second. Say it is assumed as equation 2. By equations 1 and 2, we will get V1 is equal to 0.04 meter per second and V2 is equal to 0.16 meter per second. And the loss in kinetic energy is 1 by 2 into 1.2 into 0.2 whole square minus 0.04 whole square minus 0.16 whole square, that is equal to 0.6 into 0.04 minus 0.0016 minus 0.0256, or that is equal to 0.6 into 0.0128, that is equal to 7.7 into 10 power minus 3 joules. Here see, loss of kinetic energy is nothing but total initial kinetic energy minus total final kinetic energy.